What in the hell is this? The chairman tweets, "Protect our ducks and kittens in Ohio," because he goes down some crazy rabbit hole, completely debunked that aliens are eating pets. My God, are you okay, Mr. Chairman? Because last year, for a very long time, you tweeted and promoted Kanye West as he was calling for genocide against the Jews, and you kept it up. And now, when we have victims coming here, you're tweeting this nonsense. I don't know why you would do this. I hope you're okay. I don't know if the aliens who are eating your ducks are in the room with us right now, but Mr. Chairman, this is a serious issue. These people have loved ones who have been lost, and you tweeted this.
I am not going to allow some, and I say some, the chairman of this committee is a serious legislator who wants answers. Some are not. And some are trying to rewrite what has happened in our country over the last 8 years, erase what happened in this building on January 6th. One member of this body in Congress said the Republican district attorney in Butler County should immediately file charges against Joseph Biden for inciting assassination. Another said Congressman Scalise, Justice Kavanaugh, and now President Trump, for years, Democrats and their allies have recklessly stoked fears, calling President Trump and others threats to democracies. Another said Democrats and liberals in the media have called Trump a fascist. They've compared him to Hitler. They've tried to lock him up. A radical shift in what has really happened in our country. In fact, the former president's current vice presidential nominee is the one who said that Donald Trump might be America's Hitler, might be a cynical a-hole, cultural heroin he's responsible for, nauseous and reprehensible. I joined the chairman in seeking unity as the antidote to political violence. Unity as the antidote to political violence. But we're not going to erase and rewrite and allow some to reincarnate themselves as victims of what happened.
I'll yield to anyone who will tell me when you're bringing your impeachment vote. If anyone wants to tell me, because you promised the American people you were going to impeach President Biden. So bring it. I'll yield. Bring it. Come on. You promised the American people. Bring it. Don't screw around with this
I'll be glad
stuff.
to speak to that.
Yeah. Do you have a vote, Mr. Bishop?
Yeah.
Okay, make the motion.
Here's
make
the
the
answer.
motion.
Here's the answer.
Make the motion.
No,
Come on.
you didn't ask me to make a motion. You asked me to explain when it would occur. You want me to answer you? Was it a question you want to answer?
You're a big man, right? You talk about impeaching the president. Bring the motion.
I'll be glad to answer your question if you want an answer.
Bring the motion.
You mean you don't want an answer?
Come on, Biggs, bring the motion. Stop wasting our time. You're wasting our time.
Here's the answer. As soon as they stop stonewalling the investigation, we can get to the next step.
You guys got nothing because Joe Biden has been acquitted. And this is just a pathetic postgame of a exercise that yielded nothing.
Think about it. We were comparing what happened with classified documents with Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Donald Trump was a president when he removed those documents. He was a president that has a right to declassify. He was a president that put it in an area that was safely stored. Joe Biden, you can laugh all you want. I'll tell you what isn't funny is keeping documents in a broken down box next to a collapsed dog bed in a garage. That's not funny. And that's real, and that's where Joe Biden kept the documents.
I can't let go that one of my Republican colleagues just stated that the boxes containing national security secrets that were seized at Mar-a-Lago were stored in a safe manner. Quote, stored in a safe manner. This is the bathroom at Mar-a-Lago with over a dozen boxes of national security secrets that were stored in a safe manner. My friends, you are living on Fantasy Island. That's where cults live, so that makes sense. But this bathroom is a mess. This committee has been a mess, and this Congress is a mess. This is not stored in a safe manner. It's delusional to say that. Show of hands for anyone in the room who hung out with a felon today? Hey guys, probably want to get your hands up if you were hanging out with convicted felon Donald Trump. I don't think anyone on our side did. But that's why we're here. Ambassador Eisen, what city did Donald Trump commit his crimes in?
In New York City, Mr.
Where were
Swalwell.
where were the jurors drawn from for Donald Trump's trial?
From Manhattan.
Did defendant Trump have a say in picking his jury?
I was there for it. There was a vigorous voir dire. His defense counsel were extremely active and I thought effective.
And after that jury of his peers, his neighbors, deliberated, they had to make 34 decisions. 12 jurors, 34 decisions. What did they say?
They decided 34 times that Donald Trump falsified documents to cover up his 2016 criminal election interference scheme.
408 straight times they said the word guilty. Now let's transfer or fast forward to another trial that took place recently. The president's son, Hunter Biden, he tried to plead, was not able to do that. He was found guilty, and actually I heard your side and Fox News celebrating the verdict, celebrating the idea that a jury of his peers found him guilty. So again, when it hurts their guy, it's a rigged jury. When it hurts the president's son, we celebrate the jury.
Gentleman from California is recognized. Which one? Oh, we'll go down the line. I'll do whatever you... Swalwell, okay.
I'm sorry to each of you for the circumstances that have brought you here. I'm truly sorry that this has happened to your loved ones. And the persons responsible for the deaths of Weston, Arlene, Rachel, Kayla, and Jocelyn should die in jail and then rot in hell. That's what they deserve. I believe in security. I want barriers on our southern border at every place it makes sense. I don't want anyone to come into our country if we don't know who they are. I was a prosecutor. I'm probably one of the only persons in this room who's actually prosecuted and put away for the rest of their life some of the most violent people in our community. I'm the son of a cop. My brothers are cops. The two of them walk the beat every single day. I believe we can have security first and also address a workforce crisis and find a pathway to earned citizenship in our country. But I want to be real with you. Congress is divided, and it's hard to get everything you want. On gun violence, I want an assault weapons ban and background checks. We have a divided Congress, and so we had to settle for Republicans and Democrats coming together for the Safer Communities Act. It wasn't perfect, but it was something. And fewer kids will die in their classrooms today because Congress compromised. I want to be real with you. They don't want a compromise. Donald Trump walked away from the second most conservative Republican in the Senate offering a compromise. Don't take my word for it. Take theirs.
The border is a very important issue for Donald Trump, and the fact that he would communicate to Republican senators and congresspeople that he doesn't want us to solve the border problem because he wants to blame Biden for it is really appalling.
But I would acknowledge President Trump failed, along with Republicans. They failed in 2018 to actually move a border security bill to tighten this so that we weren't dealing with this crisis right now.
We all felt that border was a complete disaster, myself included. First, there was an effort to make law, which requires you to deal with Democrats. And then a number of our members thought it wasn't good enough. And then our nominee for president didn't seem to want us to do anything at all.
It's your colleagues in your party, sir, who torpedoed this, who didn't get the facts right on what you just outlined was in that measure. They killed it. Ironically, not Democrats.
Right.
Each of you came here today not easily, but you expected a serious forum. You are serious. This issue is serious. They are not serious. The chairman yesterday tweeted, "Are the aliens..." The chairman yesterday tweeted, "When President Trump was in office, the border was secure and illegal aliens weren't eating your pets." He also then tweeted, again, knowing that you're going to come here to talk about your loved ones who were lost, you would expect some seriousness, some gravitas, respect for the people who came here. What in the hell is this? I am sorry that you came here expecting seriousness. You are serious. They are not. And you deserve a hell of a lot more than what you're getting from them. And I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. The gentleman from Wisconsin is recognized.
The question is, why was Joe Biden reading from classified materials to somebody without a security clearance in a matter for which he was going to be paid $8 million? And this Congress needs to investigate and consider what is necessary, and it is the committee vested by this House of Representatives with inquiring into the grounds for impeachment of the selfsame president. And the hypocrisy is mind-blowing. I wonder if Steve Bannon could imagine that someone might, for a political purpose, pursue a contempt resolution. But there's no political purpose here. It is the responsibility of this person who received classified information to provide what he has to this committee to evaluate. It's just almost, it's unspeakable.
If the MAGA impeachment investigation was a missing person, we'd all have Amber Alerts on our phones a long time ago. And that's what this is really about. They promised you that they were going to have the goods to impeach the president, and they failed. They came up short. You've got nothing, nada, zilch, zero. It's a big goose egg. And so you're just screwing around now on the margins with this batting practice, exhibition, preseason game-like exercise because you're not ready for prime time. This is embarrassing. It's embarrassing, and it's a waste of time. You have people sitting in here who are wearing shirts that say, "Moms demand action." Do you think moms are demanding impeachment? No. They want their kids to be safe in their classroom from gun violence. You actually sit on a committee that can do that. Man, come here and do something. You have a colleague right now who's trying to put the Attorney General in handcuffs with this Anna Paulina lunacy because she can't accept that the former president was arrested and convicted. In her own district, she has some of the highest home ownership insurance rates in the country. Her state has a 6-week abortion ban. And this is the lunacy that she's coming here and focusing on? Guys, it's over. It's dead. It's rigor mortis. And it's time to move on. I yield back. Let's talk about the witness you're seeking to hold in contempt today, because that person is a ghostwriter. That's where we have now landed in this long investigation. We're going to hold in contempt a ghostwriter. And why are they seeking a ghostwriter? Because they have literally run out of people to support their baseless, false, completely meritless allegations. I'll walk you through some of them. We saw in this committee, Durham. Mr. Durham was brought here. He was appointed by Donald Trump, kept on by the Biden administration, and he brought 0 indictments against any of the people you alleged had done anything wrong. Then we had Mr. Hur, who was appointed by President Trump, kept on for the investigation of the mishandling of classified documents by the Biden administration, and said there was 0 legal wrongdoing by President Biden. You wouldn't let Hunter Biden testify in public. You did it in a secret location that the public was never able to see. That transcript didn't go so well for you, so you never brought him back in public. Then you had Devin Archer testify, and he said that there was no evidence of wrongdoing by Joe Biden. You brought in Tony Bobulinski, a person who would best be remembered for suing his cancer-ridden father's charity. Then there was Alexander Smirnov, who had the smoking gun about all of the Biden corruption. He's not available because he has been indicted for being an agent of the Russian government. There was Mr. Gall Luft. I'm sorry, he also can't be here today to help you because he was indicted for being a Chinese agent. Then my favorite, and you could say this is when you jumped the shark, is when you had Jason Galanis testify from prison. You zoomed a guy in from prison to try and support your investigation. Guys, in baseball, you get 3 outs and the inning's over. In football, you get 4 downs and then it's over. You're out of outs, you're out of downs. And as far as we're concerned, President Biden has been acquitted and it's game over. And I yield back to Ms. Lofgren.
Thank you for yielding back, and I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Gentlelady yields back. Gentlelady from Florida is recognized.
I want to talk a little bit about judicial bias, because they've suggested that there's a bias that occurred in this case. Ambassador Eisen, in Donald Trump's other case, where he's alleged to have stolen national security secrets, who appointed the judge to the bench in the Southern Florida federal case?
Unlike the special counsel in the Hunter Biden prosecution, who is a Trump holdover, David Weiss, that was a last minute, referring back to our history, midnight appointment, you can call it, by Donald Trump of Judge Eileen Cannon.
Are you kidding me? Donald Trump is complaining about bias in his case, and he's on trial for stealing national security documents with a judge that he appointed? Well, that's interesting. I didn't hear any of you all talking about that. Well, let's talk about the Supreme Court, who's deciding whether he has absolute immunity and can send the Navy SEALs to kill any of his opponents, as he alleges in his arguments that he can do. One judge is flying an insurrection flag in solidarity with the insurrection on January 6th that tried to overturn Donald Trump's loss in the 2020 election. Another judge's wife was at the president's speech on January 6th, right before the insurrection occurred. But Ambassador Eisen, I want to talk about, now that he's a convicted felon, declared 408 times guilty by his neighbors, are convicted felons allowed to hold a security clearance?
No.
Are convicted felons allowed to serve in the military?
No.
Are convicted felons allowed to visit most countries?
There's a long list of countries they cannot visit.
And typically, the terms of probation for a convicted felon, do they allow you to hang out with other felons?
That's prohibited. There are other prohibitions, such as gun ownership.
That's probably going to be a problem if your friends are criminals like Paul Manafort, who was Donald Trump's former campaign manager, Vice Chairman of the campaign, Rick Gates, aide to the campaign and convicted felon Roger Stone, former White House aide, also convicted, Peter Navarro, Steve Bannon, also a convict, on his way to jail soon, former National Security Advisor, also a convict, Michael Flynn, and his accountant, Alan Weisselberg, currently in custody right now. But this is the person who you all chose to hang out with this morning, delaying the original start time of our hearing, because rather than getting work done for people who need us to work, you chose a felon over helping families. We're going to flip that, and we're going to choose families over felons, and I yield back.